Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tom Worth Jr. And today I wanted to talk about Zelensky appearing as if he will not be accepting Putin's hand-dictated terms for the ceasefire. He's trying to walk the tightrope, and he's meeting with European counterparts. The U.S. has a delegation in Geneva. They're going to discuss things. But Zelensky had a couple of tweets this morning. One was 8 hours ago, one was 4 hours ago that I saw. And basically he's thanking Mark Carney for in Canada for his assistance. He's thanking Europe. He's thanking President Trump for all of his help. He has learned. Zelensky has. He's thanking him for his help through this and for sending Javelin missiles. So he is being very respectful, very grateful. That's supposedly all Trump ever wants, right? You gotta thank him personally. So Zelensky's doing this, but he's not going to accept these terms. These terms were handwritten by Putin himself. If you read them, that's what it appears to be. There was the 28-point plan, which supposedly this is based on. It's maybe not all 28 points, but it's completely unacceptable from the Ukrainian perspective. And Trump is trying to strong-arm him, telling him he needs to have an answer by Thanksgiving, or we're going to cut off support. And then J.D. Vance comes out and says, oh no, to our senators, oh no, we're not cutting off support. So Trump's trying to send every signal he can that we will cut off support for Ukraine if Zelensky does not accept Russia not only holding the lands they currently occupy, but also some lands they don't currently occupy, and also Ukraine reducing their own military force by a great deal, and also Ukraine's promise to not join NATO, which that's insane. All this is a ceasefire. All it is time for Putin to, because once he does it, this is why Putin would do this. Putin invaded in February 2022. So at any time, he could just withdraw. He could just stop fighting. That's all that it takes. We all know this. That's all it takes to end this war. But he's not going to do that because he wants to hang on to what he has. And he needs to reload. He needs more money. He needs the sanctions to be called off. So if he can agree to a peace deal, which is in no way, shape, or form a peace deal. This is merely a ceasefire allowing Russia to keep what they have, as well as just be handed over additional things, as well as reduce Ukraine's ability to defend itself once Putin starts it up again. So once the sanctions get called off by Trump, then Putin can start making money again and start funding more arms again. I took a couple of screenshots of Zelensky's tweets this morning. The one from about Canada Prime Minister Mark J. Carney, good conversation, talking about the negotiating teams in Switzerland. And in this was the one from 8 hours ago. He says, I thanked the Prime Minister for his support and readiness to assist wherever needed. We are also planning a coalition of the willing conversation at the beginning of next week. We value this format of coordination among a wider circle of partners so that everyone is involved and informed about the peace process. These words are very carefully chosen, very, very specifically crafted to point out, without offending Trump, the fact that Zelensky and all of the European partners understand that they had zero input to any of this. This was just conversations with Trump and Putin going back to Alaska, as well as more recently. This is what Putin, and it reads to me as if these terms were dictated by Putin with no expectation they would ever be accepted or implemented. Just crazy stuff that they're demanding. But Trump goes along with all of it. In that, because he just wants credit, right, for a peace deal. And then the one from 4 hours ago, this is also a tweet from Zelensky. No, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not going to be on Twitter. I get these tweets when I'm just Googling for information. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of stuff from X out there, and then I'll have to click that, and I'm not logging in or anything like that. But that's still a platform where people like Zelensky are communicating. He's not going to put something on Blue Sky, unfortunately. Trump's never going to see it. It just doesn't. The I guess the megaphone of record, whether you are good or evil, remains X. And that's just what Zelensky's going with here. I love how Zelensky puts this. He says, this nature of the war and Russia's attempts to prolong it show for them that this is not about territory or about one neighbor or another behaving towards Russia, but about Russia's right to wage war, its right to subjugate others, and a fundamental absence of security. And he goes on to thank President Trump, thank the United States, thank Europe, thank Canada, and thank you, the Ukrainian people. Another point of this plan was that they need to have an election in Ukraine very quickly, which does need to happen. I don't find that to be a sticking point, but that's sort of, it reminded me, that one was just extra galling to me because it reminded me of what Texas legislators did in the state of Texas. And one of the things they had on the ballot this November, one of the propositions, and it's just stating the obvious. It's just stating something that's already going to happen. Everybody already knows it's going to happen or already exists. And you're just making a point to call it out as if, but for you, this thing might not happen. And in this case, it is, in Ukraine, it is that they're going to have an election. Of course they're going to have an election. They're not right now because they're in a war. But Trump and Putin are trying to make it seem like Zelensky's this Trump or Putin type, who's just power hungry, going to hang on to everything and never have an election again. That's what Trump wants to happen. That's not Zelensky. But they're making it by calling for this election in Ukraine soon, that they're making it seem like it would never happen if they don't make this gesture. And the Texas legislators did that this fall with a proposition saying it was illegal to vote if you are not a citizen of the United States. And it's if you're an illegal immigrant, basically. And it was already illegal. It's already in the Texas Constitution. You can't vote in the state of Texas if it is, okay, not to mention federal law. It's already there. But they wanted this proposition that we are adding this stipulation that if you're an illegal immigrant, you can't vote in the state of Texas. So that's just for their base to eat up and think that, oh, look what they're doing, because obviously all these people were all voting illegally and now they won't be able to. And it's so ridiculous. And the Republicans were called out about this in Austin to great effect, but their base will never see these Democrats pointing it out, or these journalists pointing it out and point blank questioning that, look, we're reading right here in the Texas Constitution, and like you can't, like that's already in there, and there is no response to that from the Republicans. So that's all the voting thing is. It's meaningless, it's nothing, but it does get under my skin in a particular way. Trump wanted his deadline to be Thanksgiving, and he was trying to fast track this so Zelensky wouldn't have time to get the European partners on board and to get Canada on board. But everybody knew Trump was going to try to pull this, and they're all standing at the ready, and they're all banding together, and it is a show of unity, and I think I think they're going to hold firm. I think Zelensky and the Ukrainian people are going to hold strong on this and not give in to these ridiculous demands to surrender their country, basically, eventually, just part of it now and the rest later when they won't be able to defend themselves. But I thought that was a good sign, and I do love how Zelensky is learning from that terrible White House incident earlier this year, and he's doing everything he can. Trump's still going to call him out and still going to attack him and call him names and make up things, but at least it will all be in the public record how respectful Zelensky is being throughout this. So that's all I have for today. If you like this video, please give it a like, give it a subscribe if you would. Share it with someone else even. That will help it get in front of more eyeballs and help Google put it in front of more eyeballs. A video I had from a few days ago, it just, in the first day or maybe day and a half, it didn't have a ton of views, but suddenly some comments were coming in. It was about disobeying orders for the military, and a lot of service members chimed in, ex-service members, current service members, people who just are interested in anything. They start commenting about it, and then Google just started, like I could see, you can see in the stats, you can see when Google, the impressions going up. And when the impressions go up and you still have your same percentage of a click-through rate, your views are going to go up. So this video, which I thought was going to top out with a couple hundred maybe views, or it just wasn't really catching on in the first day or two, suddenly ended up with 2,000 after yesterday. It just, there seems to be a tipping point of comments or a tipping point of subscribes. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's the interaction with the comments that really makes Google say, oh, people are interested in this one. It's stirring up some conversation, so we'll get this in front of more eyeballs. So appreciate y'all for that, and that's what it takes. So hope y'all have a good Sunday evening, and hope the Eagles don't get too out of hand on us this afternoon, and we'll talk later.